Hello and welcome to Grade Expectations. I'm your host, Grade, and today I want to talk about some comics that I'm picking up that are generally not first appearances. And we're all navigating through this unprecedented comic market where, to me, prices are insane. And I find that I'm not buying a lot of the Chase comics that I was back in September, October, November. And the reason is they're just too darn expensive. People have insane values. And, like for instance, New Mutants 98. I had somebody today that wanted to sell me a copy that he thought was an 8.0, ungraded, and he wanted $600 for it. And I can't reconcile that kind of price for a very fine first appearance of Deadpool. So I'm still trying to buy comics. So what kind of comics am I buying instead? A lot of the X-Men keys are overheated in my opinion. So say X-Men 266, First Gambit, Avengers Annual 10, First Rogue. All those are great comics, but there's just been too much hype around them. And I'm starting to realize that with the hype in comics, when the hype's up, you got to sell. And, hopefully you can buy back later. Hopefully the hype train doesn't continue. And, you can buy it back at a lower price. Look at Ultimate Fallout 4. It's a comic that has had two hype trains now. It got hyped up back in October, and the price started to go up. And then when people stopped talking about it, even though it's a fantastic comic, it's a modern grail, price goes down significantly, and then hype train started back up. Coincidentally, with a stimulus check coming out, and the price went right back up. And now we're starting to see, that they're more attainable, and like the price is going back down. So, like that's one where buy on the dip, and sell when it's convenient. There's a lot of copies out there, so there's certainly a lot of money to be made buying and selling Ultimate Fallout 4. But let's talk about some of the other comics. So first of all, behind me or in my background, I've got a few cover buys, and I've been looking at the comics for a while now. I have a wall that I've started, and part of that wall is got to be the comics that look awesome. So first one I have is Daredevil 186. This is a cover that I just seem to remember. Like it's come out. I've seen it a couple times, and I just remember it. So Daredevil doesn't have that memory or that many memorable covers, so I've picked that one up. Next, I have the glow in the dark Ghost Rider 15, classic 90s cover. I'm sure it's printed to oblivion, but I have at least one copy now. X-Men 11. X-Men 11 is the last Jim Lee cover. It is definitely going to be a classic cover. I think with all the millennials buying comics and people that were around in the 90s, that is a comic that they remember. And you're seeing, like they're still pretty cheap, but that was the case with a lot of comics a year ago. And I am buying X-Men 11s if they're in good condition. And the last one I have is Spectacular Spider-Man 101. I've shown that one before. Just an epic cover, and kind of like the negative variant before negative was cool. So what else have I been buying? First of all, I've been reading Geiger, and I think it's awesome. And I took Spec Collector's advice and bought a number of Geiger ones, like for less than cover price. A covers, B covers, and I think D covers. But on one of his recent videos, he was talking about the Chase cover. And this is one that I don't think has gotten a lot of publicity. A lot of people aren't really thinking too much about Geiger yet, but I am hearing a lot about it on the internet, and not from like speculators. I'm hearing from people that actually read comics, like the people that want to buy comics are all really enjoying Geiger. Like obviously the art is fantastic. It's only like three comics in, so it's just raw spec right now. So the comic that he's recommended, and I'm actually going to recommend as well, is the one per store variant, but this is the Virgin UK variant. So I had never heard about this, or I didn't hear when it came out, and Spec showed it off. And so far I bought two. They are pricey. They're definitely, approaching 100, 125, 150 when all is said and done. And a lot of them are in the UK. So you got to pay in pounds, you got to pay import fees, and they're not very readily available. So it's a one per store variant. I checked the internet and it appeared to be approximately 400 comic stores in the UK. That could be totally wrong, but I was just kind of like rough estimating based on little dots on a map, and it felt like about 400. So obviously we're familiar with Virgin covers. This is the only Geiger one Virgin cover, and it's a pretty epic cover. It's it's the same image that you see on the North American one per store variant. It's just effectively the only Virgin one. And so I've got a couple of them. I am looking for them. I have like an eBay search for when they pop up, but honestly, since I bought two of them, one has come back up and it's a lot more expensive. So um, I think it's a good buy, and it's kind of like a longer hold comic, obviously, but it might be one that when people get wise to, it's just going to dry up instantly. Again, because I believe there's only say 400, and I've got two. All right, next we have Infinity Gauntlet #1, and this is a cover by. It is definitely an epic cover. Obviously, we've seen the Infinity Gauntlet in the MCU already, so it's not like there's a ton of spec there, but I would say that there aren't too many in high condition. So if I see this comic and I think it's like a near mint copy, I'm definitely interested in buying it, and I think it's desirable. Like again, um, this is not a first appearance, so we're looking at cover by and important for other reasons. So I think Infinity Gauntlet #1 is a good comic. Next, X-Men 129. Now this is a first appearance, and it's one of the pricier ones. So Emma Frost and Shadowcat and Sebastian Shaw. It's the beginning of the Hellfire Club saga. So I did pick up one copy of this. I picked it up back in November as well, and this is one of the few exceptions where I think this comic still has a lot of room to grow. We've seen what the 9/8s are going for, so a 9/8 of this comic, is going 7,000 or more, and you can still pick up the raw ones in like very fine condition for a couple $100. So this is one comic where I don't mind spending because I think it's still underappreciated. Three major first appearances, fan favorite in Shadowcat, and really Emma Frost as well. And this comic has legs. So this is one that I'm actively looking for where I do feel okay paying with the current market price. Kind of in the same theme, X-Men 141. As well, X-Men 142. I bought another set of 141 and 142, and they're on their way here. But this is a comic, obviously, it's an homage cover, it's Days of Future Past. It's actually got a couple of first appearances, first Pyro, first whoever the Earthquake guy is. And I think that, it's a major storyline with Wolverine. This is X-Men in their prime, and this is a cover where I don't see it very often, and when I do, I'm trying to pick it up. Next, X-Men, X-Men 268. So this is a classic cover to me, and I remember this back from like 90s Marvel cards, and just seeing Black Widow with Captain America and Wolverine. There aren't many Wolverine covers where I think they're epic, and this is one of the exceptions. So whenever I see a 268, if it's in near mint condition, I'm trying to pick it up. And this is a comic where I imagine I'll accumulate, tens of them over time, and like we'll see if people like it or not. I've noticed with some covers, and these are Bronze Age books that I'm talking about today. I'm going to talk about some of the Silver Age ones that I've been picking up, but with the nice covers, some of them I'm finding still very very cheap, where I don't really understand why people haven't bought up a bunch, and like individuals haven't bought up their copy and just kept it. So again, this is kind of like an outsider opinion. I'm looking at comics that I remember that I think are epic on a wall and are still available. Next one I've talked about before. This is Team 9.8 recommendation. So this is a Jerry recommendation, and it is Wolverine 88. This is the first battle between Wolverine and Deadpool, and you can see I've got 4 copies here. I have more that I've also bought. There are a bunch of different versions of it. So up here, if it says deluxe, deluxe is kind of like the later one. So you can see out of these four, sorry, out of these four, one is the the front one is the original, and the other 3 are deluxe versions. And the original one that doesn't say deluxe is a lot harder to find. And I would say that this cover again has grown on me significantly, and I love the negative, like the negative space look to it. I think it's actually an important comic, and as soon as we see Wolverine in the MCU, he's going to be fighting Deadpool, and it's going to be epic, and everyone's going to be chasing this comic. It'll be on Comic Tom and on what do you call it? Whatever that app is. I don't have the app, but everyone's going to get the notification, and they're all going to start looking for this comic. I would say it's pricier. Like this is a $30 comic right now, and I saw one, go for 75 in the last couple days. So they're available for a good price, and then they are also expensive. So if you find it, it's one to consider. Last comic for today is Wolverine #8. And so this is the 8th appearance of Patch, and ultimately it's just an awesome cover. And back in September, this comic was about 40 bucks for, say, a near mint one. I saw one sell today for 100 bucks, and I've been buying them at about, say 50 bucks. Not 9.8 candidates. I don't think you're going to find a 9.8 for really any of these comics, and if you do, you're just lucky. You buy enough, sure, you might find one, but near mint copies. These two I'm going to have graded, and hopefully after it's pressed and cleaned, we get one that's in the nines. But just a classic cover. Again, like Marvel cards, I definitely remember this cover as an example of like Wolverine and the Hulk together. And obviously, they're two of Marvel's most popular characters. I love the contrast. I was reading up on this comic, and it came out just after the movie Twins came out, so you can imagine which one is Arnold and which one is Danny DeVito. So I guess in closing, there are definitely comics that I think are good spec. I am not a big subscriber in jumping on, first female Loki, first Agatha Harkness. The ship's kind of sailed once it's in a Disney Plus show, or God forbid, like you hear the news for a movie. Um, First Kamala Khan, first Riri Williams. Once the news is out, you kind of miss the boat. So these are comics where I think they are, old enough. They're still out there, although you have to look for them, and they're comics that I'm buying up. So you're going to find in a couple of years there are less of them available in the market, and if I'm doing it, I'm sure there are other people that are doing it. That's it. Short video for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I do erratic videos, so if you want notifications, go ahead and subscribe, and give a like if you made it to the end of the video. And thanks. Have a good night.